just just be conscious of that, and don't let that stir up insecurities in yourself and limiting beliefs in yourself that like, hey, they're so far ahead that I can't, I can't even start. And that's the first thing I want to say. And the second thing is you can start. Like I literally a high school dropout, joined the Air Force with a GED in 2006, and now lead very have 5-6 companies with almost $200 million portfolio.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I am your host, Q Edmonds. Y'all know what I'm going to say. I'm very excited to be here today. Always excited to be alive. Always excited to bring in guests so that you can get a chance to look at what they do, look at things from their perspective, their unique lens when it comes to doing business. And so today I have here with me Mr. Vincent Gethings, and I'm excited to have him on so that he can talk to you about what it is that he do within real estate, within the market space, what his expertise is. And so, Mr. Vincent, I'm excited to have you on. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Good, man. Hey, listen, I want you to take us into your world, man. I want to see things through your perspective. And so if you don't mind, I would love for you to just tell us what your main focus is these days. You want to give us a quick origin story about how you got started and what you do. We love origin stories here. And of course, tell us what markets you're operating in. But sir, the floor is yours, man.
All right. Thanks for having me on. So yeah, quick origin story. My name is Vince Gethings, and I started real estate investing in 2013. So I look young, but I've been in the game for quite a while. I started by using my VA home loan. At the time, I was active duty Air Force, and I didn't really have a whole lot of cash to work with, but I did have my VA home loan. So what I did was what's called a house hack. So I got into the game by house hacking my VA home loan when I was stationed in California. And from 2013 to 2016, I built up equity, bought in a pretty decent area, and I sold that house in 2016 and took that chunk of money. And I was like, all right, now what am I going to do with? I'm hooked on real estate. How do I get into more? So from 2016 and 2018, I was like, all right, I need to buy some rentals. I started doing, reading the books. Bigger Pockets was big back then. So I spent a lot of time on those forums, reading those books, a couple other books to get into how do I get into small multifamilies, duplexes, fourplexes, sixplexes. That's all I knew at the time. So from 2016 to 2018, I bought 20 units. So at the time I was like, I made it. Like this was my 10-year goal. I did it in 18 months, and I can retire now from the military having my 20 units plus my retirement, and I'm set. But see what happens is you get that real estate bug, and and then you're like, I need more doors. So I was like, all right, there's another levels to this game, because I saw people buying bigger properties, and people that were just like me. A lot of people think apartment complexes and things like that in commercial real estate. they got like, oh, it's just some.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
You know, some suits somewhere and some downtown skyrise working for some hedge fund that's buying these, you know, these commercial buildings, and most of them are not. It's guys like me and you, and you know, they just know more about that side of the world. And so once I saw that, you know, there's normal people just like me. They don't seem smarter than me. They don't seem more capable than me. They don't seem like they work harder than me, and they're doing it. So I got to figure out how to get into that world. So 2018 came around, or really 2017. I started getting interested. 2018 was when I pulled the trigger. I ended up joining a mastermind community and education platform that taught me how to get into multifamily. So within 6 months of joining that community, and the community was called Wheelbarrow Profits, it was led by two guys named Jake and Gino, and they are the real deal, as real as it gets when it comes to multifamily. And 2018, within 6 months of joining that program, I bought my first apartment complex. It was a 52 unit apartment complex in Michigan. And I was like off to the races. And I was like, all right, now made it big time. I got a 52 unit. And then I ran out of capital. So because all the capital I had saved up, I by that time I had used all the capital for my house flip, liquidated my retirement, my savings, everything to buy that buy the apartment complex. I'm like, all right, so I got a little bit of cash flow coming in, but how do you buy the next one? And that's when I realized I only had one tool in my tool belt. So I was like, I need to go back to school here and figure out how to fill my toolbox or my tool belt with as many tools as possible. You know, we have seller financing, joint ventures, master lease options, syndications, you know, all the different tools. I was like, I need to know how to do every single one of these at an expert level so I can, you know, take advantage of most opportunities. So that's what I did from, you know, in right around 2020. So from 2020 to now, you know, my company, Tri-City Equity Group, I kind of cracked that code, and, you know, we're up to just about 200 million in assets under management. And somewhere, I think we're floating around maybe 900 units right now. So we transitioned to a lot of higher quality product. Um, and that's kind of where we're at now. And a lot of, you know, mistakes and bumps in the road in between, you know, the last 5 years, but we're really honing in on our strategy, which is we're going a mile deep in one market, which is the Dallas-Fort Worth market. And we're only focusing on higher quality product, which is for us would be B plus, A minus type real estate in the Dallas-Fort Worth market. And 100 units or bigger is what we're focusing on. That's what fits our company, our growth strategy, and everything like that. I'm not saying that's the best product out there, but that's what works for us right now, and that's what we're going after.
Love it, man. Love it. Thank you for the origin story. Thank you for, taking us and walking us up into where you are now. And I love the strategy. You putting 10 toes down on strategy, looking at those A, B plus markets. I hear you, sir. I hear the success. And I like to say, at this portion is like, we always sometimes talk about the success, but there's a journey to how we got to this success, right? There are times when deals go sideways, times when you have to pivot fast. And for our listeners, I was wondering, are there any stories that you can tell us about the journey of how you got to success? Was there some times that you had to
Absolutely.
come up against adversity? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been more than we got time. You know, I didn't want to breeze over like, oh yeah, I just got the Midas touch and boom, I'm you know, printing millions. It ain't like
Yeah.
that. There's definitely a lot of learning lessons, but and I'll hit a couple, you know, but I'll preface with the, you know, the importance of having community masterminds, coaching groups, is because you can lean on them. And a lot of people in that group have made the mistakes that you're about to make, and they're going to
Yeah.
help you, see around that corner.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
And that's what really helped me, and let me get through some of these tough spots I found myself in, is because I had that peer group and that mentorship group around me that was like, hey, I did that 3 years ago, and this is how I got out of it. So some of the examples I have, and common mistakes that I see newer investors make, especially when they get into commercial real estate, is they start casting a really wide net. Um,
Uh,
and they do that. They're like, all right, well, the grass isn't, my backyard, there's no deals in my backyard wherever I live, Cincinnati, Ohio or something, pick a market. And for some reason, because they live there, they just think that the grass is greener somewhere else. So they start looking in places like Florida and the Carolinas and all these. I hear the same story every day. And the first thing I see is like, hey, have you really exhausted your backyard? Um,
mm,
because for you to get on a plane, go to Charlotte and go buy a property there, one, you have a very big competitive disadvantage going into somebody else's territory that there's a ton of investors already there, and you're just some out of state person. Um, and the management struggle of like, now you have to, every time you want to go see your property, you got to hop on a plane. It's a whole thing, and find contractors and trust them and try to manage a property through FaceTime with your contractors. Like
yeah.
it's a lot more logistically difficult than people think. And so the first thing I say is, hey, like the grass isn't always greener. Fully exhaust your backyard. Like draw a 2-3 hour radius around your house, and every town that's, over 40, 50,000 people, go visit it and exhaust that first before you even think about going to another market. The next mistake I made was I was like, all right, well, I'm going to jump on a plane and I'm going to go everywhere. And then the thought process was, well, if I'm going to jump on a plane and go one place, I can jump on a plane and go a bunch of places. And so we cast a huge net and was like, I'm just going to get deals that wherever they make sense, I'm going to go do them. And what happens is you start getting a lot of deal flow, and you start getting a lot of deals, and you start thinking you're having success. But what ends up happening is you start scaling very quickly, and then you start burning yourself out, and you're getting
Yeah.
spread too thin. At one point, we were we scaled pretty quickly, and we were in 5 different states. So that's 5 different property managers, dozens of contractors, 5 different states of laws and regulations and tax code and insurance policy, like all these things, because I started getting spread too thin, and I was the main asset manager. I was like, this is not sustainable for growth, is being spread too thin.
Yeah.
So after COVID, and we're talking timeline here, it's 2022 going into 2023. After COVID, we were looking like, hey, what markets, are the best performing ones, and what ones do we see has the best potential for growth for us over the next 10 years. And we looked at all the markets we were in, and we landed on the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And we're like, all right, this may not, there's a lot of metrics where this is the best market, but right now this is the best market for us, even though
Yeah.
there might be other opportunities out there, cheaper properties, higher yield somewhere else. But for us, this is where we're going to plant our flag, and we're going to go vertically integrated here. So what that means is we started selling off everything else that wasn't Fort Worth, or
Mm,
Dallas-Fort Worth rather. And we started our own property management company and started bringing in maintenance in-house, management in-house, leasing in-house. Now we're working on bringing contracting in-house, marketing in-house, all the infrastructure to where we're called vertically integrated. And it's a slower growth, but it's steady, and it's more of a sure, safer bet to have control of the whole process, from cradle to grave of our growth. And it's a lot more sustainable where we're not just being spread too thin.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I love it, man. I hear you again. You saying 10 toes down in this Dallas Fort Worth area, the slow growth. I love the aim. It seemed like you guys got the target and you got the target in sight, and it seemed like you're nailing it. And so, this may be a redundant question, and hopefully is not. But would you say that that is the next real goal? Are there any other goals that you guys are seeking out as you scale, as you solve problems? Is there anything else that's on the target board?
Yep. So our company, so my company, Tri-City Equity Group, that's my main equity in Black Sand Property Management. We're shooting for $1 billion, portfolio in the next 10 years. We're about a fifth of the way there, roughly, and we're focused on that. And it's just a good round number. It doesn't, it's not like it's more of a vanity number than anything, but it gives the team, something that one singular thing to focus on, because
Yeah,
that size of a portfolio will solve a lot of problems for us, and it'll support a lot of families.
yeah,
Our internal teams and things like that. The way I look at it, as far as growth, is as the asset manager, this is a good tip too for other asset managers, is you start every quarter I go down my P&Ls, my profit loss statements, and I start looking at inefficiencies of things like, hey, we're paying this contractor too much over here. We're paying we spent way too much on this one line item over here. But as you start to scale, when you're smaller, you don't really have a choice, because you don't have the payroll to bring stuff in house. But as you start scaling, you're like, hey, I got 4 properties that are each spending $2,000 on landscaping. I can hire a landscaper for under $8,000 a month, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's like kind of the thinking, that as I start scaling, now that we're vertically integrated, I can go down my P&L and just be like, all right, I spent $20,000 on a plumber this month. Indeed ads going up. We're going to bring plumbing in house.
yeah,
So that is the exciting part of scaling, is being able to bring more things in house and have a tighter control on the quality, speed, and ultimately the revenue that drops to the bottom line, um, because you have control over all the aspects. So that's where I'm excited, um, as we scale.
yeah, yeah. Listen, when I hear you talk, you talk about, hiring people, you talking about, it's obviously it's the team, it's just not you on your own, because you're saying we a lot. And so I want to talk about relationships a little bit and get your perspective on it. When it comes to building relationships and growing your network, what's made the biggest difference for you?
Well, we have, I'll take that kind of two ways. So you have two different aspects. So there's building relationships in your core team, and then there's kind of like building relationships as like maybe possibly investors and
Hmm.
things like that. I take a two different approaches on that. The team is where I see most people mess up, because they're too focused on trying to get investors. Um, like, I need cap, I need other people's cap, I need capital raised. So they're really focused on that, and they are way too lazy on who they're actually letting at their table. And that's where the deal goes south, is because at some point you got to execute a business plan. And if the people at the table aren't pulling their weight or doing what they're supposed to do, doesn't matter how much money you raise, or it doesn't matter how good the deal is on paper, it's going to fail.
Yeah.
And so, I start focusing, especially when people come ask me about, like a question like this, I'm like, focus on your team, and make sure that the players on the team are bringing equitable value to your core team, and not just some people that you like playing golf with, or pickleball. Now it's the new thing, and it's
Yeah.
or something like that, or just some guys you like to hang out with, or you met at a conference. Hey, I met Susie and Jim at this conference last weekend, and they want to buy multifamily, so we're going to start a company together. And they don't know anything about them. They don't know what their core values are. They don't know what their work ethic is. They don't know how they handle themselves under stress.
Yeah.
Um, they don't know their goals, their vision. how long, what their timeline is to accomplish their goals. And that's where a lot of the teams fall apart. And I get a lot of people that will come to me and they get this honeymoon phase of, oh, we're going to be investors now. And I met this person, we're going to jump in a deal together. And they just, they're jumping into bed with people that they just met, 2 weeks ago, signing on loan documents together,
Yeah.
guaranteeing, their net worth. And then 6 months later, they're like, please help me, so and so stopped showing up to the meetings. And, it's all on me now because I have, my guarantee on this loan. And so I try to prevent that. So the first part of the question is, when I look for team members, they have to bring equitable value to the table. They have to be solving a problem. Either they're finding deals, bringing money, they have liquidity that they can use to help, get a deal to the finish line, like earnest money, inspections, things like that, down payments. Um, they can help sign on debt, be the guarantor, or they can help manage the property. So they got to solve one of those seats, one of those 5 seats, and that's if they're not solving one of those seats, like they just, hey, we'll go play golf, but you're not getting on a deal with me, because
Yeah.
then I end up dragging people along. Um, and there's nothing bad about that. It's just you got to protect yourself and your sanity. You know, your future self 6 months from now when you're pulling your hair out.
Yes, sir.
Um, right. So there's that, and then as far as investors, there's a lot of people out there that are much better than me. I will say, little brag is that my team did raise like $30 million in the last 10 months.
Wow.
And we do it all through, like, we don't use PE, we don't use family offices, we don't, that's all our network.
Yeah.
And I'm not an expert capital raiser. I will say that I think I attract a lot of capital just by being authentic and passionate, and um, very informed about what my market is, what my business plan is, and I can speak confidently to how we're going to execute. And I have now I have a track record of so many deals that have gone full cycle. Um, but I don't have like a whole lot of like scripts and
Yeah.
those things that people do that there's a lot of courses out there for that stuff. But for me, I be myself, and I'm very passionate about multifamily, and people can see the results I've had, and
Yeah.
that they um I started tracking capital that way.
Absolutely. Listen, man, this everything you said is spot on when I think about relationships. I'm glad you broke it down in the two ways when you talk about the investor, but also talk about the core people around you. When you talk about building a team yourself, building the relationship around you. Like, I love it. And I'm so glad you broke it down that way because relationships is everything within the space of real estate, in the space of life, just making sure you're surrounded by like-minded people. They always say, look at the five people around you, and so I thank you for breaking that down. And listen, man, if before we wrap, is there any kind of maybe other encouragement, advice, maybe inspiration that you wanted to give, a word that you wanted to leave with people based on the experience of what you've been through and what you've built?
Yeah. A lot of people, I think there's a lot of noise out there, and I'm sure other guests have said this too. There's a lot of noise out there. Social media just amplifies it, and it makes the things that people are doing almost like unrealistic and unattainable, for them. And I'll tell you, kind of two things. Is one, most of the stuff you see on social media is fake. Like,
Hmm.
those Lambos are rented. Like, you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
and there's a lot of guys that are, and gals out there that that's their brand. A lot of social media has turned into that is their brand, and so don't think that is their life. For most of the people that you see, it's just their marketing, right? That's their
Yeah,
marketing channel. They're showcasing a thing to invoke interest, to for people to reach out for whatever they're raising capital, trying to sell something. So just be conscious of that, and don't let that stir up insecurities in yourself and limiting beliefs in yourself that, like, hey, they're so far ahead that I can't, I can't even start. And that's the first thing I want to say. And the second thing is you can start. Like, I literally a high school dropout, joined the Air Force with a GED in 2006, and now lead very have 5-6 companies with almost $200 million portfolio, and we're just at 11 years in this game. So you can really start from anywhere. Just gotta shed those limiting beliefs, and not let the noise of social media kind of beat you down, thinking that you can't do this.
Yeah, yeah. No, man, sir, I appreciate that. I think that's very valuable. I think that's very encouraging, man. And so thank you for that. Listen, Mr. Vincent, before we wrap, if someone wanted to reach out to you, connect with you, collaborate with you, learn more about what you're doing, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Yeah, thank you for that. If you want to see what I'm doing, I got some free books and stuff like that. I can shoot you over as well. But Vince at wheelbarrowprofits.com. Just shoot me an email there. It's my direct email. It's not going to some admin box or anything like that. Shoot me an email saying you heard me on this podcast, and I'll send you some free books and a couple templates on where to get started for multifamily.
Absolutely. Well, there he is, Mr. Vincent Gethings. Sir, thank you so much, man. Thank you for your story. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your perspective. I know our viewers got a ton of nuggets out of this conversation. So, sir, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So listen, y'all heard Mr. Vincent, you got the value. Go ahead and subscribe. That way you do not miss out on the future guests and the content that we're going to continue to give. We keep coming across amazing people, and we just want to make sure that we can connect them with you. So just go ahead and subscribe. So Mr. Vincent, thank you again. And to everyone else, we'll see you on the next time.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.